Casing this window, you're going to notice that this window, the whole unit is 3/4 inches forward towards me into the space off the drywall. The reason for that is because we're using a 1x3 for our back band just to give a substantial projection of the molding off the wall. And it all makes sense because our wainscot cap here is coming off the wall, and you can see it transitions into the back of our door casing. This needed to be large enough to catch that molding there. So that's why you see this projecting off the wall. We basically just set the unit in more for the sake of example. Now, if you were trying to get this same look, you would just need to do a jamb extension, whereas basically where you would just put a piece of 1x to build out to get to that 3/4. I have my pre-assembled, pre-built casing here. I could take this and set it right on top of the window where it goes. You don't even have to have it as one piece like this. We've got it pocket holed together. You could do it in 3 separate pieces and nail it on, but you just want to make sure after this first step of getting this casing on, you check this miter, you make sure it's good, do your best to get that nice and flush. Ideally use some type of miter clamp or pocket hole it like we did, but you just gotta get that good, because if you leave this to the painter, let's say you stack up all these moldings like we're going to, and you leave it, oh, the painter will take care of it, it's gonna be very difficult for the painter to come and sand around all your back band and moldings, okay? So think about it, if I'm holding a sander, an orbital sander, or just by hand, I can get all this sanded. You know, you shouldn't have to do that much sanding if your carpentry's on point, but face it, we're living in the real world. Painters are gonna have to address some stuff, right? So imagine this now. This is our back band piece going on. You've just made it extremely difficult for the painter to come now and sand this down. Now I'm stuck with this little range of motion here, and it would be wrapping around the whole thing. Like, you gotta basically, what makes a good install is thinking 5 or 10 steps ahead. So whenever you get to that point of painting, your painter's gonna thank you already for using Windsor, but they're gonna thank you if you kind of do a little bit of that prep for them as a carpenter. So just keep that in mind. But this is going right on, right where it is. I just got to make sure I'm flush here. And we're gonna just tack this thing in. I could probably throw one here. So there we have our WOCS 007 casing. It's that 3.5 inch with the bead there. And when you look at it now, kind of on this side profile, you'll see there's our original 3/4 that I talked about being off the wall, like our jamb extension. And then we have the piece that we stacked. So now we're 1.5 inches off the wall. That's why we're using a 1x3 to go as our back band. So when I put that on, you can see it just adds that chunkiness to the molding. And you'll notice too, as I go down here, it sits flush, and the tip of that 1x3 is right on the miter of that wainscot cap. So this is really where the magic happens with Windsor, and all this stuff works together. And if I show you guys on this side, same thing. You can see I've got all this kind of empty space there. Now that's more of a kind of like a farmhouse look, where it's just more simple. But if we add a molding back in there, we can kind of dress it up a little bit. It's not going to be anything ornate, it's not going to be elaborate, but it adds another shadow line, another beautiful detail, and you could really go either way. But like we did on our door, we are going to put a cove in there. So putting these 1x3 back bands in, I might just get them in position and then shoot the back of them. Another thing is you want to keep pressure against the wall so you get the cleanest line here. You can see up against our wallpaper, we've got that nice crispy line. Using this back band, you have the opportunity to scribe it so you can get flush against your finished surface, give that painter a nice caulk line. And then if it, like in this case, I know it's a little weird having wallpaper as you're installing stuff in this mock room. It's not typical, but sometimes you are in that situation where you've got a wallpaper or a faux finish, and you've got to have that nice tight line in the back. And the back band really solves that for you, because you can manipulate it. And I'm just going to fill up there by hand. I like that. And we're just going to throw some glue and spring clamps on this one. Need to get my faces flush here, where my board comes together. That's what I'm looking for. Same thing on my right side over here, of course. Throw some glue on there and some spring clamps. You'll notice I anchored this one down, nailed it in, but these two have not been shot yet. I do that so I can kind of move stuff around. And then once I got these, you can see that's loose. Now that I like it, it's all glued up, I'll go ahead and shoot it. So at this point, our WOCS 007, our 1x3 back band, is looking really good. That's 2 of our 3 parts. Now this piece that I'm holding is our 3rd part. This is the Windsor Cove right here. And this molding, I'll hold it up for you, it's 3/4 by 7/8. And we're gonna have it to where our 3/4 inch side is up against our back band and our 7/8 side is up against our casing. What that does is it gives us a nice reveal from our cove to our back band, and it projects more on to the face of our casing, giving us this super nice proportion profile. And if that doesn't light your fire right there, man, I gotta say, your wood must be wet, because look at those profiles, look at those shadow lines when you put all this together. This is why I love carpentry right here. When you see how you can just simply put something together and what you get at the end is pretty spectacular. That looks good right there. And the back bands are usually my favorite things to put in. Look at that. Got to make sure they're flush. And I know that's gonna fit now, so I'm gonna tack it in to hold it in place. I can go ahead and glue my final miter for this window. And we call these a pinch fit in carpentry. See how you gotta pinch it, release, snaps into place. Those are always good. But we know that all things work together for good. To them who love Windsor, to them who are called according to its purpose. But seriously, look at this. You've got this window stool supporting our new casing, and then, as I mentioned, it sits right on the corner of that miter there, perfect reveal. You follow that down, you know, our window stool is our wainscot cap, and our apron, this cove, the same cove that's up here, is supporting and right in line with the edge of our back band. If you guys literally want to plug and play, as it were, I'm going to leave a link to that Windsor 1 catalog in the description. I'm going to put it in the top comment and pin it as well, because you could literally pick one of their lines of moldings. They've got the Greek Revival, Classical Craftsman's, and several others. You could just pick something like, hey, I want this for my house, or I want this for a house I'm building for a client, and boom, you're set up with your moldings there. So you can get this same look, and you don't have to sit there and design it yourself. They did all the heavy lifting for you. So let me know what you guys think of this window casing, of this door casing, and of this build in this mock space that we're doing. And I hope you enjoyed this, hope you learned something, and we'll see you on the next one.